Hey, we're here at Elliott Racing today, kind of going back over the win with the Snowball Derby back a few months ago and just trying to put it all in perspective. I think looking at where the Snowball Derby compares to short track racing is probably like winning the Daytona 500 in the Cup side. You know, a lot of people have gone down there and tried, been there a lot of years. I went back in the early 80s and ran a couple of times down there pretty unsuccessfully for those two events that I went to. But you know, over the years, it's grown and become one of the biggest short track events of the year. You look at all the guys that go down there and try and look at all the past winners over the last number of years, and you see what's been accomplished there, and a lot of the guys kind of launched their careers there and went on to other things. But you know, even if you don't go on as far as to other venues with your career, still to go down there and run well and do what you need to do, at that particular racetrack, it's a pretty tough racetrack within itself. But you know, to run that event and be able to even to be there at the end is probably a remarkable feat within itself. But you know, we were fortunate enough to win it last year and be a part of that celebration. And you know, with Chase being a part of that deal, it was a great effort for us. And I know Jim Barfield's been with some winning guys down there in the past over the years, and then Ricky, the crew chief, won it back a number of years ago himself. So you know, there's a lot of experience of what this brings to the table and what we've been able to do here, at least out of this shop, for the last few years. And then, you know, with Chase doing it, I was proud of what he did and was able to accomplish. And you know, I'm sure it's going to be the biggest win of his career, and he can add to that.
Well, you know, I agree a lot with just being how tough it is to go and run well, and just to be in a position to win the race is tough to do down there. And we've been fortunate enough to be in position twice, and hopefully we can do it again this year. You know, just to put yourself in, you know, inside the top 10 or so, be on the lead lap in those last 20 laps is a feat in itself. And you know, I think for us to have done that the past couple of years and have opportunities to win the race is one thing, much less win it. So hopefully we can get back down this year and put ourselves in a good position to try to win the race again. And you know, I hope you know, it's definitely a big win for me, and hopefully moving forward we'll have some bigger ones for sure. But that definitely be nice. But we'll just have to see how things go. Well, I think the biggest thing as far as getting yourself ready for the Snowball is how things go at the shop, and really that pretty much decides how your weekend's going to go. When you show up at the racetrack, whether it may be the Snowball Derby or your regular short track race on Saturday night, you know, your preparation is going to decide how your weekends go. Your weekend goes to a point, and you know, a lot of hard work goes in here at the shop, and you know, it's definitely a team effort. And you know, if you stayed here for a day or half a day, you could definitely see that. So you know, Jim has a lot of knowledge of what goes on, and he you know, he does a good job with that.
Just to elaborate on what Chase is saying there, you know, there's a group of guys here at the shop that we've taken many years to put together, and we work really well together. And everybody's working towards one goal. And we're working on stuff for the Snowball Derby right now, and it's only 1st of March. And we're already starting to test some stuff for the Snowball. All year long, you're building up to run the Snowball Derby. It's the most important race that we run all year. And the guys in the back, they look forward to going down there. They work hard to go down there. They prepared our stuff well. And it's just the biggest race of the year for these guys. Like Bill said earlier, it's our Daytona 500. You know, that's the biggest short track race there is. And I've been fortunate to be involved with 2 winning teams of the Snowball Derby. But this past year, that will always have a special place in my heart. And I appreciate the guys working their butts off, getting everything prepared. And I appreciate Chase giving 100% out there in the car, because he never gives up. He'll keep fighting all day. And Bill and Cindy, they give us the means to do what we do, and it just takes everybody here at shop to get this accomplished.
Right, and I think you know, as a driver, you know, if you stay here and you see how much hard work goes in, you know, hard work and effort goes into these race cars and preparation for that race, the least you can do is go out and give it your best shot and do your best and never give up, and you know, just give it your all to the checker flag clause. Well, the Snowball wouldn't be the Snowball unless you have some great competitors, and you're going to find that each and every year. Whether the times are tough or whether the economy is doing really well, you're going to see a lot of cars go down for that race and give it their best shot to win. these past few years have been some really, it's been some tough competition down there. And definitely from years past, it's definitely a race that everybody gives it their best shot to go win, and that all kind of comes back to how hard you work at the shop and how well you're prepared to go down there and start your weekend off, and then hopefully finish it up with a win.
There was like 70 cars attempting to make the Snowball Derby this year, and they start 28. So they're going to send 32 good national short track cars home that's not going to be able to run the Snowball Derby. And we travel all over the United States and race weekly or a couple times a month, and at any given race you'll not have but maybe 25 or 30 cars. So when you go to the Snowball Derby, you have twice the competition. Everybody that's there is run real well everywhere they've been, or they wouldn't be going to that race.
Well, a lot of preparation goes in, and your week starts off with practice, and your work at the shop. Everything you do, your weeks and weeks and effort and hard work goes into this race, and you show up down there and you're ready to go. Everything's going good, and practice is the first thing you do. You show up at the racetrack, you unload, you go practice, and kind of sets the tone somewhat for the weekend and how things go, and that really starts things off. But the snap of a finger, something can go wrong, and all that preparation can go out the window. So it's just a lot of good placement, and just having some good guys to be around you, and that just goes to the race, and just how good it seemed like things were going in the race. Seemed like things were really falling out well, and we were kind of I felt like in a good position at the time, and ended up getting caught up in a wreck pretty early on in the race, and that kind of set us back. Had to come down pit road and do some work on the car, and just really the biggest thing was just kind of kept our head in the game. We had a mindset to really, just to be around at the end, and we set our goals for that, and fortunately that's what happened. I believe somewhere around lap 147 ended up getting caught up in a wreck, and it took out a lot of the leaders. It actually started on the front row and ended up working its way back. I think we were running about 4th or 6th at the time. We were on the outside row, and just ended up getting spun out, and then hit some cars down there in turn 3, and tore up the back of the car and had to come down pit road and do quite a bit of work on the car.
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of the race just to be ready for anything as the race went along, because it's a long race and a lot of stuff happens, whether it be on a pit stop, have a bad pit stop, or have a problem on the racetrack. And we don't want anything to happen, but a lot of times it does, and it did this race. We were going along pretty good, I think in 4th position. And a couple of cars right in front of Chase got together, and we kind of got caught up in a little bit of an accident, and we got a little bit of damage to the rear of the car. And so the guys were ready for it, and they were prepared and to make the necessary repairs and get us back on the racetrack with the car as good as it was at the beginning of the race, without losing a whole lot of time. And everybody did a real good job, and got back out, and Chase was able to make his way back to the front fairly quickly. And then we had another caution, and everybody on pit road did a really good job there changing tires, got him out in the lead, and from there he was able to go on and get the win.
It was, not only were our preparers really good, they repaired the car really well, and but it was fast. Caution laps counted. We could have gone down a lap really easily, and it was like Ricky said, everybody was, we had said even the night before that, no matter what happens, we're going to get it fixed and get back out and do whatever it takes to finish the race. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And and then the next pit stop, everybody was, they turned their heads, got their heads back in the game, and had to do what we planned to do all day. Ricky being a past winner of the Snowball really, it helps as far as our strategy goes. Being able to make calls on the fly. Come down pit road or to not come down pit road, and it worked out well this year. And it was ironic because we were in a very, very similar situation last year, and ended up staying out. Didn't get any tires. Some guys farther back in the pack came down and got tires, ended up winning the race, and those guys on the newer tires, and we stayed out and had some older stuff, and unfortunately just didn't go our way. We thought it was the right call at the time, and we were all us that, you know, we had our mindset to do that, and it just, you know, didn't work out. But this year came around, and we ended up kind of doing the same thing. Stayed out, didn't get tires. Some of the guys came in behind us, got tires, and this year we were on a different compound, and it seemed like track positions were just so much more important than to lose the you know, the track position that you could keep by staying up front, or lose that and come get 4 tires was big, and to be able to stay out front was very important. Well, I'd say this year staying out and not taking tires was definitely a gutsy call. Obviously, you know, like I said, the tire compound was different, and we were definitely under different circumstances this year than last year. But more or less, definitely a gutsy call.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you go to enough of these races and you see all kinds of different things work out, from changing tires late and charging back through the field versus staying out and staying out of trouble and not getting caught up in a wreck. And unfortunately, in 2010, we stayed out, and we thought that was or at least I thought that was our best shot of winning the race, and we wound up getting in a crash there, and so it didn't work out good for us that year. But in this past year, the tire was a little bit different, and a little bit different compound tire, and the amount of caution laps that we were running in the late stages of the race versus the amount of green laps kind of weighed in on that, and we talked about it before we went down there, and we wanted to change tires and give Chase tires and let him have a chance to win the race with having a fast race car and being able to charge and kind of control his own destiny. But as the race wore along, we had to think about it a little bit, and Bill come over, we talked about it briefly there, and it looked like the tires was coming back real good speed-wise, grip-wise after cautions, and it didn't seem to be a very big advantage for changing tires. And we thought we were kind of in box. We had track position, we had the lead, and that was going to be our best opportunity to win the race, just to stay out and see how things played out, and fortunately it worked out very well.
I say, just like in any kind of racing, you're going to see, you know, it comes down to the end of a race, you're going to see guys wanting to get to the front, you know, and maybe do some things that aren't right at the time. I'm guilty of doing that, and I think just like anybody else, and that's kind of the way the Snowball Derby unfolded. It was similar to the year before, and come down those last, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 laps, and you're going to see some guys try to make their way up to the field, and unfortunately some cautions fell, and as a leader, that's the last thing you want to see. There towards the end of the race, you want those laps to keep clicking by and be done as fast as possible. But I had 3 cautions in the last 30 laps, and the last one I think came with about lap 10, a real bad crash in turn 1. Ended up bringing out the red flag with 5 to go, and sitting there under the red flag, you definitely, you know, can think about all things. You know, you just got to sit there and just think about what you got to do on this next restart, and just really focus on that, and just think about, you know, your gear shifting, and just get ready to you know, to make the most important restart of the day.
Coming down to the end and you know, winning the Snowball was a big feat. I think looking at these guys, and to win any short track race this day and time, as far as what it takes and what you got to do to put these programs together. You know, with Jim and Ricky doing such a good job as far as what they do, you know, both at the track and at the shop, and then all other guys we got in here that work very hard to put all this program together, because it's not no one person that puts all this program together. And you know, we're just looking forward to trying to having a good 2012 and being able to get back down to Pensacola and see what we can do this year for the Snowball in the fall.